Hey there, this is Megan Ritchie with the Hound podcast. Thank you for joining me again today. Today I thought I would jump right in and talk a little bit about starting new habits. I find this is something we all end up doing quite often in our lives, certainly in business, but also in our personal lives. So it seemed like a good topic for today. And I guess the best way I can think to talk about it is just using a personal example. So I think probably as many of you can relate, I've been struggling to lose weight for a long time, but really saw a lot of success maybe 2 years ago. And weight roller coaster, put it on again afterwards, or at least some of it back on. And I've spent the last 2 years, but last year a little more seriously trying to take it back off again. And again, if you can relate with this, if you've struggled with this, it's easy to jump on the bandwagon. You're good for a couple weeks and then you fall off. And then you're good for a couple weeks and then you fall off. And that motivation just doesn't last to hold you through. So what can you do if you're starting a new habit? And, again, whether it's personal, something more like weight loss or a business goal, I find often social media or emails can be a little bit this way. It's not something most of us enjoy posting all the time or coming up with new content all the time, but something it's kind of been browbeaten into us that we need to do. So how do you start those habits? And for me, I guess my experience has been first, just get started. I know that's pretty straightforward and obvious advice, but I think it's the only one that works. So just get started. Give yourself permission to be terrible at it at first, to fail miserably, and if your goal is to have a new social media post every day or 3 a day or whatever your goal is, give yourself permission to be bad at it. So if you only do one day, or you miss a day, or you do two the other, give yourself permission when you're starting to do it poorly. So I would certainly recommend that to start. For myself, I've found lately that what's worked best for me is sort of just gamify it, I guess. So I've set up a little sheet for different things I'd sort of like to, mini routines or habits I'd like to change, I guess, in my life. And just to have that cheat sheet is sort of handy. So, something we hear a lot just for health is, we need to drink more water. So I give myself a certain number of points if I go drink a glass of water. So, it's obviously a very basic thing that anybody is capable of doing. But I find it really helps to kind of gamify it. So I give myself a certain number of points, and then, my goal is to hit a certain number of points per day. So for myself, it's 100 points. So, that's not 100 glasses of water, but there's other little habits in there that I'm trying to build, and I find that's a really good way to reward myself, I guess, for doing the things I want. Because so many of the new habits we're trying to put into place, they're not things we find fun, at least when we start. So if you can find a way to reward yourself, for me, at the end of the day, that's a point-based system. So at the end of the day, if I get my 100 points, yay, I got my 5 gold stars or whatever. And then if I hit that consistently for the week, then maybe I get myself a little, I don't know, like a $5 prize, or I give myself permission to, have a guilt-free movie night or something like that. So, whatever it is, but find a way to reward yourself. I think that's the only way you can sustain long-term success. In the moment, motivation only works for so long, but, if we can keep those, incrementally reward ourselves and keep those little habits going long enough for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it takes to form a full-fledged habit rather than a habit you're trying to implement, to the point where it just becomes second nature, then you can start to get rid of those rewards or start to reward yourself for doing the next thing, the next habit you want to implement in your life that you think would be better. But anyway, I just know it's something a lot of us struggle with. So I thought I would do this little podcast episode on it, and hopefully you get some value out of it. So I guess with that, thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time.